Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Gilinski and today we're talking about the Great Resignation. And I'm gonna share with you my own The Great Resignation story that started 2 years ago, right before the whole world turned upside down. And I'm gonna tell you all this story, how I quit my six-figure job, how I found the courage to do so, what were the obstacles, what were the lessons that I learned, and how you can learn from my mistakes, take into consideration my achievements, and improve your journey in the Great Resignation. I'm gonna share the unexpected drawbacks of freedom, as well as amazing experiences that I was lucky to have for all these 2 years. That was a roller coaster, to be honest. And I'm gonna share this story with you. Well, let's roll. Two years ago, my vision was, or I'm having a career, or I'm being an entrepreneur. It was or that, and now that I'm looking at it, it's not really like that. Life is not like that. I ended up doing a little bit of marketing and freelance. At the same time, I was doing the course in collaboration with a singer, and at the same time, I'm pursuing my another dream, being a career consultant. All the events of the last several years just showed us that yes, there is no stability, but at the same time, it means that you also can be flexible. You can maybe choose several things and pursue all of them. But let me start from the beginning. So back then, 2 years ago, I was, as I said, it was black and white, and I was thinking that we live only now, we create our present, there is no other time than present. And basically, I still think that if you want to be happy someday, be happy today, right? That's a crucial thing that goes through my whole journey. That's how I'm looking at events, that's how I'm looking at everything that happens to me. But there is something that looks like another side of this medal, the drawback. Yes, so yay, start a new life and just drop everything and just quit. There is no future, there is only present. In present we live. But what about the food on the table next day? It's like you go to pursue your dreams and tomorrow you're just broken. You realize that your life is a complete mess and everything is collapsing and you really have no control over it. But what I'm trying to say for real, that it's not only that or that. What I learned in this journey is that you can try to do both. And this is not only about what things you do, but it is a lot about how you feel with yourself. You can actually enjoy the moment and at the same time plan for future. You can have all the control you want and at the same time feel that you're free. And I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to share my experiences and maybe you can learn something from that. But let me start from the beginning where it all, well, I would say it all collapsed for me. Back then it felt like, okay, I got all this journey from a junior to a director of marketing. I was earning a lot of money. When I just started that job, my boss actually called me and asked me, what kind of laptop do you want? Like, is it for 15 or 13-inch MacBook? I was thinking, wow, that is a life. Wow, he respects me so much that I can decide on a laptop. It happened so, and I'm really grateful. My boss was a complete micromanager, and that laptop decision was the last decision I actually had to make in that company. At some point I realized I don't like micromanagement. I really wanted a lot more freedom to be able to work from home because in the previous places I did. So just to be real with you, it was such a disaster that at some point I found myself hiding in the toilet of that building for 15 minutes, playing with my phone and reading some things just to distract myself from thoughts about the toxic environment and that toxic job and the micromanagement and the lack of freedom and all of that stuff. And that's how the decision of quitting that place started to grow on me. Well, it felt for me that I'm just gonna instantly fly, okay? It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna build a business, and I had an idea already. Everything was just like, goodbye boss, goodbye the old job, hello the new reality. So I quit with a smile on my face, and I was definitely starting my new life. Little did I know, all my plan on pursuing my dream really collapsed just because I was so sure of myself. I was so sure that just tomorrow I'm gonna succeed in everything and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna make a lot of money. So this thing, it did happen to me, but it did not take several months. And I still remember taking that online marathon of one of the career coaches that I really admire. And she was saying there, well, if you can not just jump out of your job and completely change everything, just don't do this, take slow steps and all that stuff. And I was thinking, that's not me. I'm not taking small steps. And I was thinking to myself, what does she know about me? That's the only way I do things. Now, looking back and seeing how it all turned out and seeing how much time it took me to figure things out, I would maybe reconsider my decisions. I could never take things slowly and just try to do a little bit of this and adjust and all that stuff. I know that there are people who can do that, but they still jump and they still just do the thing, because they got burnout and stuff. And also because they believe that it's gonna be easy. They think they understand the consequences and they think they understand what steps they're taking. They just make their projections on how the situation is gonna be. And that's the thing with projections, and that's the thing with all these jumps. You cannot really know. It's because we are, I don't know what, we're wired to think positively or whatever, but that kind of mindset can be misleading. So, for example, when I was changing jobs, it took me time to understand that I have to take into consideration that all these processes are going to take a lot of time, that making my CV and redoing my CV and coming up with ideas how to write things, and all these interviews and all that stuff, rewriting my whole story and representing myself to people. It is taking time. So that is my point with all this big resignation thing. I do believe that people should feel free and should live a free, good life that they're happy with. The thing is that sometimes we just look at things very black and white. You feel like, I want to be free, I want to just quit, I just do this now, and at the same time you feel that, okay, I have a mortgage to pay, I have kids. Some people just cannot afford to quit the job and that's it, and to be happy. There is another thing. While I've been sitting at home and going through all these uncertain times, sometimes I felt like I have too much time. I was going crazy. I was all over the place. I was having mood swings. I was telling my fiancé that he was completely off the point when I was actually off the point those times. And I was sitting at home and I was going crazy in these four walls. Sometimes while you're searching, even when you feel like you don't have time at all and you're just going circles and trying to figure things out, you sometimes actually do have too much time. You don't have like regime, you don't have routines, you just lose social connections and a lot of things. And when you are in such a state, it's really hard to be happy and feeling fulfilled. So basically, this is a message to all those people who want to be a part of the Great Resignation and just change their life completely, but they feel they cannot do this. So trust me, while you're having your job, you have a lot of things that you can do still to be a part of the Great Resignation, to fulfill your dreams, to go there, to be the more free version of yourself, to get those perks in another job, or to jump and to become an entrepreneur. But you can do it differently. There are different ways. The reality is a more complex thing, and it all depends on how you look at things. So it is all about being really open-minded about it. And I know that this specifically can be very tricky, especially this year, especially now, because sometimes this desire to switch a career and to just never do whatever you're doing, that desire comes from a huge burnout. And that is the thing with burnouts. Sometimes we really switch careers and we completely forget everything that we were doing. But sometimes, if we do really realize that this is a burnout and maybe we still love our profession, it's just we really have to take some rest, it might help a lot with understanding yourself. And I know how hard it is to look at your own profession, which you start to hate, and try to turn it in a way that you will actually enjoy it. But if you just even take a vacation, just completely switch off of whatever you're doing, and I don't say that this is the way to treat a burnout, no, it's completely not the thing, but sometimes when you're taking a little bit time for yourself, your goals and your ideas and everything you want to do becomes way more clear and you come up with different things. So try to do that as well. So I was a little bit all over the place with this Great Resignation topic. I feel that it was because it's not only one thing. There's not only one phenomenon that people are quitting. It is connected to so many other things. It is connected to the situation that we are in. And each person's situation is completely different, and our experiences, though very similar sometimes, they still differ, you know. But there is one thing that is super common among all the people who are thinking about the great resignation in this way or another. It is this feeling that I'm fed up with this bullshit, really. Whether it's bullshit from governments, whether it's stuff from jobs that treating us not nicely, whether it's trying to make the business works while the situation is so shaky, while the world is shaking, you know. So I think I'm gonna talk about it more. So if you can relate to my story, or at least to a part of my story, if you feel that my advice were useful, and if you enjoyed this type of content, and generally if you enjoy the type of content about career switch, about job search, about interviews, but what I think about the current situation and what can we do about it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because I'm gonna talk about these things a lot. And also don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Tell me if you want to hear more about my thoughts on Great Resignation, because I still feel that the topic is so vast, you know, it's so deep and it's so connected to all different things that I still have a lot of thoughts that I didn't cover in this video. Write me in the comments that this is what interests you. Share your attitude to the Great Resignation and your stories. Maybe your story could influence other people and could inspire other people, or make them at least feel that they're not alone in this, because really we are not alone in this. We're in the situation when everything is shaking and everything is moving and everything is uncertain, and we're so fed up with everything that is happening. And if you also feel that, if you can relate to that, please write your story. Please tell me what you feel. Please tell me how do you deal with that. And it can help not only me with my future videos, it can help people who are reading it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I see you next week.